Hello, everybody. Jeff with the Grand Lake Outdoor Report. And man, I'll tell you, we've got some stormy weather to report, but we've got some really warm temperatures. This week, my son Hayden with Williams Guide Service has been sending me pictures of some of the crappie he's cleaning. And I cannot believe how far along some of these eggs are in these crappie. If we don't get a fairly strong cold front or two to push this water temperature down, I think we could be looking for some spawning crappie towards the end of this month, which is not really that uncommon, but it would be uncommon for a lot of crappie to hit the bank right there at the end of March instead of holding off to usually about the second week of April. But hey, Mother Nature is fickle, and we all know that March can be cold and nasty and crummy and rainy and miserable, or it can be warm and kind of have some really nice, wonderful weather like we've had over the last few weeks. So, but I will tell you that the fish that Hayden's catching, some of them, they're not ready to hit the bank with the eggs yet, but they are starting to get bloody. So that was kind of interesting to see how far along those eggs were. The water temperatures are getting up to the point to where if the fish were ready, I believe that they could move to the bank and could feel comfortable up there. But again, that's a lot of unknown. One of the things that I'm really excited about this year is a product that we have at Lucky Strike called a Crappie Magic Crankbait. Now, for years, you heard about me talk about go-go minnows and swimming minnows and crappie kickers and lucky bugs and, things with Lucky Strike and things with Flea Fly and all the stuff that I've worked on in the past. And those are all fantastic lures. But the one thing that I've never really got a chance to try was a small floating crankbait for crappie. Now, if you're fishing the banks, I really think that the potential of this little tiny crankbait we have that's called a Crappie Magic can be an excellent choice. Now, I've been fishing with the Crappie Magic crankbait and been catching white bass with it, been catching crappie, caught some Kentucky bass with it, and they don't dive very deep, and they do float, and they're going to dive about, you're going to get about a 2 to 3 foot depth with one of these little crankbaits. And I sure am excited to try these on the spawn this year. For years, with the lead heads and the soft plastics, even though they do a fantastic job of catching a lot of fish, they get hung up a lot. And, you just never know exactly how deep they are when you're swimming them off the bank. Obviously, a cork and a bobber is always a fun way to catch crappie, spawning crappie as well. But all of the Crappie Magic crankbaits, all of the packaging should be in at our plant later this week or the first of next week. And it's going to be a little bit hard for us to get these over to the area dealers. But the area dealers can go ahead and place orders for them. We've got pricing and everything figured out. And if you don't have an area dealer that's handling a Crappie Magic crankbait, then you can find it at Lucky Strike, LUCKE strike.com. And again, I think this is going to be a technique and a pattern that's going to be fun and easy for people to fish. I think it's going to keep people from getting hung up as bad. When you cast that lead head up to the bank and it sinks, a lot of times you get hung up. And this particular product floats when it hits the water, and then you just reel it down, and kind of the faster you reel it, the deeper it goes. So keep that in mind this year. I'll be posting pictures, and Hayden's going to have some of them to try, and John Lewis is going to have some of them to try. These guys are going to be fishing with them. And then I'm also working on a technique with this lure. We're working on some sinking models that we're going to be able to fish with, casting out over brush piles and structure in the summer, and then casting towards schooling white bass. So I think we're going to be able to do a lot with this, and I can't wait to share the results with you, because this is going to be a lure that's going to be easy to fish with and a lot of people are going to be excited to use it. It's an economical lure too to use, and it's made in the USA right there in Greenwood, Arkansas at Lucky Strike. So the snagging is really good in the upper end of the lake. A lot of good reports there. A lot of good reports on catfish. White bass are fantastic with some crappie up in Spring River. If you can find a place to fish, sometimes it gets so crowded up there that you just about casting in another guy's boat. But Neosho River should be starting to get a little bit better. I know I heard some reports, some guys catching some Roman crappie with live scope over on the Neosho River. And so the white bass and the crappie fishing, the snagging is really good. We get a little bit of fresh water, get a little bit of movement, and boy, I tell you, those paddlefish are going to be thick up there at the dam at Miami. This is the exact time of the year when those things will get up there, and you can really get after them. Just be careful, and if you've never been there before, make sure you use a barbless treble hook, and make sure you pay attention to what's going on, because it can get wild and crazy at Riverview Park up there when those paddlefish are really running and that water's running. It's muddy, and it's a great place to catch them from the bank, but you really need to kind of understand what's going on there. So anyway, I think we've got a lot of great things going on. Obviously, the Bassmaster Classic is in the area, going to be coming to the area. That's going to be exciting. There's going to be a lot of people tuned into what the Bassmasters are doing. We love it that they're back at Grand Lake and that Wolf Creek facility, and then over in Tulsa. I wish we were a little farther along with the Lucky Strike brand to have a booth and have some exposure there, but we'll count on doing that in the future. We're just not quite ready with all of the whole bass assortment, but that's all coming, and it's going to be exciting, and we wish everybody at the Bassmaster Classic we wish them the best, and hopefully all the people around Grand Lake go out and watch the weigh-in and check these guys out and see how that's done at the very top level of the industry. Hey, I'm Jeff with the Grand Lake Outdoor Report. As always, good luck out there, and thanks for listening.